I have to make a conference call in a little bit, like in a few minutes. So I'm gonna go.
Can we watch a movie?
Maybe later.
Tonight?
Yeah, maybe after. Yeah.
50, 10, 75, 75.
Hey, but why don't you put something on? Like a sweater.
Not the blue one because I was. You wanna? Shake it.
Chicken and salad and rice and hummus.
I probably just started one chicken. No, Elliot, eat your chicken. Is that good?
Yeah, you did it! Wow!
5, 15, 25, 35, 45, 70, 95, 105, 115, 125, 35, 137, 5, almost 150, almost 150. $25, $35, $45, $55, $60, 3 times 2, 126, plus the bar, I think about 10, 136, 4-inch diameter.
ungefär någon gång på parken.
Som pizza. Amazing. Yeah, I normally just put the buckle on your hand just because it's easier to put on. I know there's an advantage, like, but only if I take it. You know what I mean? Like, only if I take it. No, I know. Yeah, that's okay. Is that good steps? Marius.
Oh, er du rigtig? Nej, du er det. Jeg går hjem af, ikke? Det er ganske fine komedien, jeg er ude. Ja, det kan være ude. Ja, det er finske dansken.
I love it.
Hva sier du om det?
Ikke du.
Every year in the WAL, new stars emerge, and established greats remain at the top of their class. But there may be no one who can claim a longer period of sustained excellence than the legendary Ron Bath.
I got introduced to arm wrestling as a teenager. It was November of 1980. The rest is history. Still here, still arm wrestling.
Ron Bath, a true arm wrestling legend.
Arm wrestling for me is something I've always naturally been good at.
Oh, he's mad, he's mad.
So it's just something I was easy to fall in love with.
All right, so he's showing about 2 courses buried.
I've been doing construction just over 20 years.
What we're gonna do is hold off those stakes about 3.5 feet, give or take, 3 feet.
We build walls anything from a foot or 2 high to anything up towards 60 feet plus. Over the years of doing construction, I've incorporated a lot of it into arm wrestling. I think that's made me even stronger and better.
Devon Larratt. Yeah.
Being in my 50s, I found out keeping up with these young guys because of age and just seeing how long I can be very competitive. Maybe it's just not wanting to get old, but sometimes I think it's a thrill hearing somebody say, how can you do that when you're that old? Just trying to see how long I can be the best that I can be.
Ron Bath is among a cast of legends in the WAL heavyweight division. After navigating through a field that included Matt Mask and Marcio Barbosa, Ron Bath found himself one step away from claiming the right-hand hammer. In his way stood the 2015 runner-up, Devon Larratt, who had his sights set on dominating the heavyweight division in 2016.
Competing in the 225-pound right heavyweight final. Please make some noise for Devon No Limits Larratt.
My name is called, and the closer I get to that table, I know it's my day for victory.
Please welcome the legend, Ron Bath.
I'm trying to get my psyche up to a point of where I'm ready to fight till the bloody end.
To me, Ron Bath is the American king of arm wrestling. I'm here to beat him. The girl throws down a thick stack of money. When you put $10,000 on the table, believe me, there is a difference to how hard you will fight, how hard you will push.
At the table, I really worked the psyche to hate the guy across from me. Devon likes to shoot his mouth off, and I'm waiting for him to say something that can just really motivate and drive me a little crazy.
Relax. Just like this.
Devin. Straight. Close your hand. Go.
I explode. Ron doesn't like that.
Come on.
I know it messes with his mind. I'll keep pushing those buttons.
You can't keep jacking that around.
The unhappier he gets, the more angry he gets at my actions, the more my plan is gonna work and his will fail.
Devon Larratt this year has been ultra impressive.
We both wanted to get out into the straps. The go went perfect.
It's a big drive from Buff, and you can see how hard that tested Devon Larratt.
I get the hit on Devin. It wasn't exactly what I wanted. I wanted a top, but I actually thought I had him down close enough to that pin pad to get the call.
The Canadian has stopped the match, and now we can see evidence again of him squeezing the match back to center.
I got the stop, and I know that he can't pin me, and I'm gonna regain all my angles back until I bleed him like a vampire, and I leave him with nothing.
Devin pulls me a little bit back to the center of the table. He starts doing a little bit more of his taunting, but I still had a lot of fight left. I think more than he thought I did.
You could see an adjustment there from Buff as he tried to regain his hand and does so again.
Ron's driving, he's pumping, he's trying to get that finish, but there's no quick way to end this, and he's rushing it, and every time he rushes, I'm gaining that little bit. His chances for pinning me the next match go down even more.
Bath will not quit.
Deep down inside, I was thinking about actually giving up the match and saving some energy for the next match, but I got just a little too much fight in me.
I saw he wouldn't surrender, so I put him out of his misery.
And the second round will be far easier for the Canadian arm wrestler.
I'm so proud of you, Devin.
Boom. Round one, Larratt. I'm one win away from victory.
Best 2 out of 3. Larratt trying to win once again in the heavyweight on the right side.
I know there's some so hard. I know there's some fair. I'm gonna hit it so hard.
Devon Larratt applying that mental game.
Being taunted like that, there's nothing more I wanted than to kick his ass on the next one. When we got gripped up again, I knew I needed to get a good hit on Devin.
Close your head.
But I jumped a little bit.
You're supposed to say go.
Is that one mine too?
Right when you're wrestling.
And I think the ref just called slow, man.
What's a slow start for?
I was on fire. I was ready to go.
It's gonna be boom. I'm focused.
Larratt will look for the speed here. He's done a lot of damage to the American in that first pin.
I want to pin him top row right to the pad. I'm winning the biggest arm wrestling tournament that the world has to offer.
Go.
Big drive on the start and takes it with a top roll. Devon Larratt has succeeded where twice he has failed and is the new champion of the World Arm Wrestling League on the right arm.
And I have accomplished my mission. Hammer held to the sky.
Last year, I didn't qualify for this. And then in 1 year, I worked my butt off. And I just beat a big name.
To win a WAL hammer, these Titans need to endure a grueling gauntlet of matches against the most elite arm wrestlers in the world. The difference between winning and losing in this sport can be measured in micrometers. For these competitors, that means finding unique methods of training on their never-ending quest for an edge over the competition.
Arm wrestlers are real creative.
I mean, you got to be innovative. You got to make things work for you.
Wrist curl, wrist curl.
One of the things I do is climb rope,
Arm wrestling was all short movements, so I stick to everything with short movements. I've been doing just this.
Anything I do at work, I try to turn into a workout. You can get a great workout just messing around with the kids, half hour, just dip away.
I have a 5-gallon bucket. Yes, filled with rice. This is a 20-pound sledgehammer head. I just sawed off the arm on it. And train not to be strong.
I have one cardio technique, and I swing those hammers for an hour.
It doesn't matter what I'm doing, I'm arm wrestling all day long.
Perhaps no one worked harder this year to get to a final than Tony Kotowski. After a disappointing performance in 2015, Kotowski returned to the WAL with a vengeance. After an impressive performance against Justin Bishop in the semifinals, Kotowski earned a shot at redemption against a familiar foe, Craig Sanders.
From England, he's known as the Birmingham Bullet, the fastest man in arm wrestling. Please give it up for Craig Sanders.
I've trained hard for this. I've travelled all the way from England. I've battled hard, and now I'm going to face Tony Kotowski in the final.
Entering the pits, please welcome Tony Iron Man Kotowski.
Last time we arm wrestled a few years ago, he beat me, and he beat me convincingly. I want to stay loose, but inside my head I'm thinking about Craig Sanders.
When I got to the table and I saw Tony Kotowski, he looked huge, but I was still confident because I've beat him before.
Tony Kotowski. He goes against the fastest man in arm wrestling, Craig Sanders.
I don't feel comfortable in the referee's grip. He smothered my hand in the setup.
You got away with one there, and you know it.
1-0.
Craig actually turned his wrist in, and I combated against it, but I got the foul because the ref seen my hand move before Craig's.
A little bit of to and fro at the table, and really good gamesmanship there from Tony Kotowski, making sure the referee thinks that it was Craig that threw the foul. Ooh, anticipation from Craig, and he missed that start. That's critical. Kotowski with the win.
I didn't roll him or nothing with my wrist. It was pure side pressure I beat him with there and trapped him in my hand.
Oh, look at that.
And I pinned him. I couldn't believe it. I was actually stronger than Craig. I didn't think I was actually truly stronger than him. I was more stunned than I think anybody in that crowd. I was astonished, to say the least.
And Craig Sanders, known for his speed, was caught napping for once there.
The ref said go, and I was underneath him straight away, so there's no coming back from that, really.
So here in the right final, best 2 out of 3, Kotowski a victory away from raising the hammer and getting 10 grand.
After the first match, he'd smothered my hands, and so I thought I'd try and turn him into a hook in the next match.
Close your thumbs.
Foul. Don't do that, Craig. Don't do that. Let's arm wrestle. Let's arm wrestle.
You're not allowed to advance in it. You're not allowed to advance in it.
Let's go.
When that ref said go, that second match, I knew immediately he was going to go inside for the hook. So I dumped my wrist down a little bit, put my wrist back on his palm, and I went in for a high hook.
Again, smart gamesmanship from Kotowski, making sure the referee is all over Craig's wrist. Sanders trying to engage the arm, but he gets no change, and that's an undeniable, deserving victory for the Iron Man. Simply too strong on the day.
Tony Kotowski, he's strong, he's a beast.
When I won, my heart stopped. I couldn't believe it. I worked so hard all year long, 6 nights a week, training just for this one moment, and I was actually here, and I actually beat Craig Sanders, one of the best in the world. I couldn't even believe it.
And the man from Wisconsin delivers big time here, right-handed. As convincing a victory as we have seen here in the World Arm Wrestling League. Look at that when the match hits the hook. Craig Sanders very, very powerful individual, but he really had very little to offer there.
I was able to control his wrist a little bit, plus control his arm a little bit. So then once I applied the side pressure on him, it was game over for him. I ended up getting this, the hammer, which means more to me than any amount of money that I could ever win.
Bartwood just taking control of the match now, trying to give the guys equal opportunity. Watch for that blistering speed from Mask off the start. That is going to be pivotal. Big drive, but that's great from Devon Larratt. He's put the brakes on. Mask now trying to apply the pressure into the hand and wrist, but he's lost his own grip there. And that is pivotal. Again, Devon Larratt had the opportunity to finish there, but he didn't take it. He's looking to burn and exhaust as many angles, as many areas in the forearm of Mask as he possibly can in this first start. Confident in his arm strength. Look at him maintaining the match there. He's letting Mask do all the work. Devon Larratt drives sideways and Mask is beginning to tire. He's starting to get desperate now, and bouncing off his own joint is not going to do him any good. Needs to settle himself, pins his own arm as he feels he's being toyed with.
Hold my finger, hold it.
Odd request, but he needed the assistance there, Neil. He dislocated that on the right side earlier in the night.
Yeah, you can see just as he's applying the pressure on the gripping peg there, it probably re-dislocated. This guy's going to be so full of adrenaline, he may not have noticed it initially, but as soon as he starts to calm down, it's right there at the front of his mind, and that won't do him any favors at this stage of the match.
Put your stall, Matt. Get up here. Put your massage from the Alberta buddy.
30 seconds, you get your own. Square up.
So Larratt with a 1-0 lead, best 2 of 3 here in the final.
Most importantly, once again, Devon had done so much work in that first pull. He likes to exhaust his opponents there. He gets hand control here on Mask.
Nowhere. No, I will.
We'll go straight to the straps.
So Mask getting a little help there on that dislocated finger again, Neil.
Yeah, you can see really it's starting to trouble him now. It's going to be playing on his mind a little bit, which is a shame for the guy. He looks impressive, but he's going to need every ounce of mental focus to defeat Devon Larratt.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to call. You complain so much. Just man up. Get in there.
Devon Larratt calls Ontario home. Mask, Alberta, out in Western Canada. Here we go, Neil.
Devon Larratt there just trying to wind up Mask to draw him into a dogfight, and a big drive again, and he set that arm. Mask unable to find his top roll, and he's squeezing around now and sets the hook. That's a lot better position from Mask. Really tight and dug deep there. And he's got a good, nearly a finish there from Devon Larratt, but a massive counter reaction from Mask, and that finger really troubled him as he tried to readjust on the gripping peg.
Go. Pin it. I don't want to. Pin it. Come on. I can't do it. Do it. Pin it. You pin it.
To squeeze around, much better position from Mask, but there goes the hand and wrist. It's over now. From there, Devon Larratt has everything he needs to secure the victory.
Two hammers. Yeah!
From Devon Larratt, he has secured his second hammer, and a dominant win here in Las Vegas. Probably the most impressive we've ever seen him against a very game and very valiant Mask, who threw everything he possibly could at the champion.
Mission accomplished for Devon Larratt, the champion 2 times over tonight.
I just wanted to go home and start training again. Halfway through the match, I wanted to go start training again. So I knew I was running out of gas. wasn't going to happen, but I couldn't stop, right? I was pulling, my finger kept popping out, dislocating just from hanging on to the peg, so I was trying to tap it on the peg to straighten it out again, but I was hoping to be able to make enough lunch money there with my left. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out today. So
Here's Abby Hornacek with the double hammer winner.
Such an intense match. You guys battled it out, but you are friends outside of arm wrestling. So what was it like taking him on?
I really love Matt. I think, you know, he's a fellow Canadian, and I just got a couple years on him. It's only a matter of time before he beats me, but I like to rub it in while I'm still getting him.
Now, you didn't have the height advantage that you usually do. How did you adjust to that?
Yeah, I'm just so strong. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I guess you know, I really committed this whole year just to training, you know, and I had a lot of support from a lot of people, and thank you.
Well, you're the defending champion, and you won on the other arm. What's it like being the king of the heavyweights?
Well, I'm really just so happy that we have this going on right now. Such a great time in our sport. Thank you, WAL.
Congratulations.
The era of Devon Larratt has begun, and there are no limits to how long that could last.
Tonight was proof that in the heavyweight class, at least for now, there is Devon Larratt. And everyone else.
Very satisfying.
Contenders like Matt Mask and Marcio Barbosa are close.
I'm gonna hit it so hard. Two hammers. Yeah!
Right, so quickly how I use this handle. So first, this is nice and tight, so I really have to force my hand through, but I get nice and deep, okay? I don't want to hold the handle like with my hand around. Push through deep so I can make that pocket, right? Make that big pocket. So my hand's flat, same way I arm wrestle. And then I'll make my wrap if I'm high or low. I'll show you high. Right, I'll go over the back of my hand. Wrap it nice and tight. Okay, see where it is? Okay, just over the top of my finger. Right, that way I have to stabilize with pronation as I cut. Right, so cupping, cupping, cupping. With this single point attachment, sometimes if the load's too heavy, you're gonna really get unstable, but the more you do it, the more you're gonna create that balance and stability in your hand. And go low, right? Just wrap, back down. Yeah, we'll go there. And this way, you have to stabilize with supination, right? So cupping and supination. And that's it. Cup will turn into like unbreakable, untop rollable wrist of steel.
Fight! Fight! Fight!
Going to talk about cupping, how to train for it, finer points. When you think about cupping in the arm wrestling game, it's maybe the most important strength you need to be a better arm wrestler. When guys are training for it off the table, they normally follow a progression when they're making their tools. Normally the first thing guys do is they just start working with thicker handles. So like something like this, you know, gonna wrap it around a dumbbell or any kind of cable attachment handle, or they're gonna make dumbbells, you know, different sizes. And all these things are awesome. They're like the potatoes of any workout program for an arm wrestler. You know, if it's got to be thick, right? It's got to be thick, and that's going to hit your cup more, right? That diameter, that free spinning handle is great for development of your wrist and your ability to stop a guy and contain him. Normally what happens is when guys are training this a lot, they start to think, oh, maybe I can make this even better. And they start to think, well, maybe if I make it spin from the outside, it's gonna hit my fingers, or hit me in a different way that's maybe even better. So guys will start to use like something that spins, right? Right. So most guys train with something like this, spinning to the outside, right? Can target those fingertips even more. Something like that, or sometimes guys will use a dumbbell where, like this bar would be to the outside, right? So it would be the outside, so it put even more stress on your fingertips, which is great. You can play with the angle. Sometimes guys even start to think, oh, I want to play with that a bit more, and they do a single point attachment. So it's spinning to the outside, just like before, but you can do it like low, or you can do it high. So that way you get like a more targeted, precise place that you're cupping from, whether it's low, whether it's high, whether it's out on your fingertips. But then what happens from there is guys start to think that while this may be an improvement, you're also starting to do a little bit of bad mechanics as you're having to squeeze at the same time that you're doing your cup. It looks something like this. If I'm cupping this, and if I'm not squeezing, it's just going to slide. So that's kind of a false mechanic, and it doesn't let you focus on your cup the way you really want to. When you're driving for your hook, you really just want to get that wrist bent. You don't really want to be squeezing and bending. It's going to deteriorate your ability to do your move. And squeezing in general is a bad technical choice, generally. So it's not always the best thing to have to be training it all the time when you're working your cup. So in my opinion, the best thing to do is with a tool like I'm going to show you now. I'm going to show you how to make it. So in my opinion, the best way to train your cup, to replicate the pressure in a technical way that you do on the arm wrestling table, this is it. So PVC pipe, and this is 3.5 inches across. I find that that's pretty standard for most guys' hand size. PVC pipe, you get your sandpaper on there. That's going to prevent slip right away without even any other issues. If you got sandpaper on there, you're not going to have to hold on quite the same way. You got single point attachment. That's going to give you the directional ability to place the pressure wherever you want and work on that wrist stability, kind of like a Swiss ball. The PVC should be wide enough when you make it to have your whole hand and like a little bit of play above and below, so that when you do your wraps, the tubular nylon is not going to slip off. Should use tubular nylon. Drill it, an inch or so from the top, one side. Just go through the middle, right, with your tubular nylon. Tie a knot there. You can't really see it, but there's you just tie a knot on the inside, and it's not going to come out. The tubular nylon should be wide, and it should be rough enough, because if you train a lot, you're gonna deteriorate this cord, and you want it to last. And you want it to be wide enough that it's not going to cut you, because depending on which wrap you do, it's going to be running around your hand. And the last step, which really makes this piece really good, is you put a strap through. Okay, you put the strap through twice around. I just put the buckle on the inside so that it's not in your way when you're training. tighten it so that when you're training, you can just barely get your hand through, right? Just barely get it through. Yeah. So it's tight, just like you would be if you were in a strap. And then take your tubular nylon. Oh, I forgot. Make the tubular nylon piece long. Okay, like that's I don't know, 4 feet. Put a little clip on the end of it to attach to your rubber band or your pulley system, whatever you're using. And then you do your wrap, right? So the strap right away is going to make it so you do not have to hold on, which is great when you're working your cup. And then you wrap. You can wrap it any way you really want. Okay, right now I've got it so that it's high. Okay, so I'm going to be doing my cup with stability through my pronation. Okay, so it's like a high kind of cup, and it feels just like arm wrestling. Just like arm wrestling. It's the closest thing that I've found to replicate arm wrestling off the table. And with the single point, there's going to be a lot of stability going on. You can wrap high, you can wrap low. Low is going to make it when your shoulder comes forward more. You're going to have to stabilize with supination more than you do with pronation when you wrap high. It's an unbelievable handle for arm wrestling. It's very easy to make, as you guys see. You know, you can get this stuff anywhere. Doesn't take long either, but I hope this helps your guys' cup game. If you want one of these, you can make it, or you can get one from me at my site. Just PM me. Enjoy.
How to set up a practice in arm wrestling. So first off, obviously you coordinate your guys, make sure you're all showing up same place, same time. Show up full, okay? Got some good food in your stomach, eating about 2 hours out, good meal, well hydrated, lots of energy for the practice. Show up not trained, so don't have a hard workout that day. Show up with your body like fully ready to 100% exert itself.
Also show up not just physically ready, but mentally ready too. You should come to practice with some sort of plan, some sort of way of prioritizing your training, whether it be working on your top roll, working on your hook, if you want to break it down further, your rotation to your cup, whatever. Either shore up weaknesses or plan to work on your strengths. So come in mentally ready as well.
When you show up, okay, generally you guys are going to run through a warm-up. The way we normally warm up is we do a lot of isometric. So we'll just sit at the table, neutral position, and just easy pressure ups. Easy pressure ups. Maybe work a little bit outside, maybe work a little bit inside, work all your ranges, but just at low intensity, good position. Once you are fully, during this time, communication is huge. Communication is massive for an arm wrestling club. You gotta let your guys know everything. You gotta always be talking, right? You gotta be talking about things like dates. When are you competing? Who are you competing against? Who is that, Dusty?
Yeah.
There you go. Hey, Dusty. Who are you competing against? What's their style? When is it? What's the format? You want to talk about your injuries, okay? You want to, whatever, guys are always injured. Yeah, stay away from this spot. You know, I can only do this. Be slow with me, whatever, okay? But guys got to know, okay, so guys are still able to come out and progress even when they got their tweaks. Again, right?
Yeah, also it comes back to regimenting your training a little bit, coming in with a plan. If I know, for instance, I work very well with one guy when working on my hook, I might say to him in the beginning of practice, I need to work on my rotator or my cup or hook, and I know if I don't necessarily work well with another guy, maybe I'll stay away from him for a little bit, get my prioritizing done in the beginning of practice, and then we can carry on with some other things.
Then comes, once everybody's warmed up, once you guys have all, everybody knows what's going on with everybody, you get into your bulk, your meat of your practice. And really it's you know, you can do it a whole bunch of different ways. Okay, we generally work along 3 lines and then maybe with a games portion. But overall, in all your activities, your priority in arm wrestling should always be strength, right? That is the name of the game. Don't think about focusing on anything but strength. Strength is going to win matches. Strength is what arm wrestling is about. Yes, it's about a lot of things, okay? Prioritize your strength and you can't go wrong. The first kind of general way of practicing is free play, okay? Free play is variable, okay? Free play is not boxed in and not defined, okay? So you and your opponent can do a lot of different things. The thing that we always stay away from is bad position, okay? Whenever you pull in bad position, you have a massive chance of injury. Bad positions happen a lot when you hit, okay? And bad position happen a lot when you are getting pinned, okay? These are the 2 areas that we don't never do, but we are extremely cautious of doing, and we'll only do them in certain situations. Okay, free play. General rule to free play, stronger man holds, and he's going to hold either in neutral to a little bit of defensive position. He's not going to open up too much probably, but the stronger man is not going to probably go on too much offense. The stronger man is going to work his weaker moves, okay? He's going to work the moves that he's developing. The weaker man is going to work his strong moves, okay, against a stronger opponent who's not going to hurt him, or not going to pin him, not going to put him into bad position. Okay, this can progress if the matchup is close enough, and if guys are healthy, and if they're far away from tournaments. Okay, this can progress all the way up to matches. Okay, so if John and I are really close, okay, and we know that we can do full-on ready goes, and it's going to be safe. So don't move. Ready go, boom, and we're so close that it's not really gonna. We're not gonna pin each other or knock each other radically out of position. We're cool to do that, and it can progress to formats as well. Like we could do 6 rounds, 1 minute break between. Okay, and this is all good so long as both guys are not getting hurt, and it's always good position.
Another form of training like this is called like working your top end. It's very much more regimented than a free play. It can be top roll versus top roll, it can be hook versus hook, it can be top roll versus hook, whatever. I will say to Devon, okay, I'm going full out, and I want to hook, and I want you to try and maybe take me out of it, or I want you to hook with me, but I'm going 100%, and you're going to go whatever percentage you need to keep me in the center or in good position still. So there's no variables. He's not going to pull anything out of his bag of tricks that's going to surprise me. I know I'm going to be in my spot. I'm going to be in my power where I want to be, and I'm just training at full maximum intensity. So whether it be top roll, straps, hook, whatever, I'm going to be working just right balls out. Another way we can do that is to incorporate negatives. It's within the same box. There's going to be no variables, but I might say, okay, I'm going to work my hook with Devon, and I want you to let me take you down. I'll go down just about to the pin line, and now I want you to work me out of it. So I want you to pull me in a negative cycle through my power, but we'll stop at a point like this where my position starts to get bad. Or I might say, I want you to pull me through hook all the way through, and I'll stop when I get into a bad position. Right about there, okay? So instead of me following him all the way down the table, I'll just work in my strongest spot just with a negative principle. Same thing as you do in the gym when you're planning your workout. Some days you might want to do like an overload principle, and a negative is just another tool, another way to do that. You're actually working more than 100% that way. You're just overloading.
Another thing that we sometimes do is just work our setups. Okay, this is a great thing to do. Setup's a big part of the arm wrestling game. In this way, this even further reduces the chance of injury. This is a great thing to do for broken guys. Great thing to do. Great thing to do for guys who want to technically broaden themselves a bit. It's just a little drill where you always in your mind you think, right now I'm in good position that I could hit. Okay? And if you don't have that in your mind, then you move your hand, move your elbow to get in that position. And you always bring it back to a position where a referee would be happy to call ready go. So you always bring it back, you know, shoulder square, thumb knuckles showing, wrist straight, center of the table. That's as far as you ever go offensively. But you know that by whatever means you have an advantage, right? So John and I are here, okay? I'll do a small regrip, okay? I know I got you, right? So we just go back and forth, just regripping, getting our spots, you know? And we'll do that for a minute or so, typically amount of time that most setups are. And we find it works a very functional strength in arm wrestling.
If I might add, this is also a very, very good tool to use when going into like a super match format, a 6-round format. It's a very good way to bleed your opponent. And if you know you've got good endurance in this type of setup, you're going to be confident and you'll be fine with whatever pressures or loads your opponent's going to give you. So you're working endurance here, but you're also working strength, but you're also building that confidence to know that I can wear this guy down if I have to.
One of the mistakes a lot of times that clubs will do is not enough strap work. Whenever you're doing outside arm wrestling techniques, it's important to use the strap because anytime you're doing an outside technique, if you're pulling against another guy who's using an outside technique, basically you need to go strap, because if you're doing it in a club where, say, John and I are both wanting to pull outside, okay, if we're both pulling outside, one of us is holding on, which is kind of artificial. You need the strap to work outside technique properly, and it should be incorporated into your training regularly. When you're working with new guys coming in at practice, the best thing you can do is not tell them too much. Just give them a little bit each practice, just a few things. We've made the mistake of trying to fire hose people, and it's hard for them to get anything. Just a few things every practice is the best chance of retention. Also, we try to keep new guys away from each other, okay? So normally for a couple months, we'll try and always have an advanced guy with a junior guy so they're not hurting each other. Bringing up a new guy, technically, there's a lot of different ideas out there. It's my belief that you should teach a guy outside arm wrestling techniques first, top roll, post, because I personally feel the chance for injury is lower, and I also feel that this is it's not a natural way of arm wrestling. Most people like to arm wrestle shoulder commitment when they first start, and to get people thinking about taking the hands is, I think, a technical step that most people, you know, it's a new thing in arm wrestling. But
I think not exactly opposite of that, but I think, as he said, most people are pulling in the beginning with an inside type of move rather than outside. So it's very natural for them to continue that inside move. And really, sometimes you only need to make a couple little corrections on a guy, and he can be comfortable at the table. Whereas if you strip him down of everything that he knows, and you're changing his stance, changing everything about him, changing how he's going to pull, and he doesn't know he feels strong in a top roll in the beginning, but as we know, it's about a balance. But a new guy, all he knows is, I want to feel strong. So I like to teach a guy how to just be better in that position where he's strong. So keep him inside, keep him safe, like teach him all the spots he shouldn't go, and just teach him how to pull more efficiently in that inside type of move. One of the reasons I like to do this is because, number one, it keeps him hopefully coming back, because he's going to be able to feel like he got a good work here, he got to be able to get into his power. Maybe he felt somebody else's power practicing, maybe he feels like, okay, I could be competitive with that guy someday. Number two, when the guy goes to a tournament, he's going to be able to get up there, and maybe he's arm wrestled 100 times before, not on a table, but at least he's going to be like, I'm going this way, and not think, you know, I got to do this, got to do that, got to set up crazy, got to do all this stuff that I don't feel natural doing. And number three, probably the most important one, when he comes into a tournament and he gets blasted top roll a few times, he's going to be like, I want to know how to do that. I want to know how to defend against that, and I want to know how to do that. And it gives him a chance to be more of a motivated student. And sometimes when somebody's motivated, they're just a better learner, and they just are hungry for more information instead of just, this feels weird, this feels stupid. They're like, I get it. I know why they're doing this. So it's just a different philosophy. We're both going to teach them everything anyways, but sometimes it's just a matter of in what order.
Practice is done. Some guys stretch, some guys ice. Everybody must eat. Right after practice, go and fill up, okay, and then that's it. Practice, show up, ready to pull, do a good warm-up, hit your intensities for strength, eat and get massive. That's simple. Good position.
That's it.
Come on, guys, just practice.
Life can flip in a matter of seconds. One morning you're waking up in the projects. And the next morning you wake up in a $1.2 million car. How did I get here?
I come looking for you with Haitians. I stay smoking on good Jamaican. I fuck bitches from different races. You get money, they start hating. I woke up in a new Bugatti. I woke up in a new Bugatti. I woke up in a new Bugatti.
So I've had a lot of questions. I hurt this part right here, right? People always saying I hurt right here because I was in this deep hook match, whatever, afterwards, you know, whenever I press right here on my hand, it hurts, right? Very common injury in arm wrestling. I've had it many times myself. The answer is light supination training. You can do kind of like a side pressure base to it. You can take a weight, wrap it something like that, whether it's a towel or a belt, whatever. Put your arm flat on an arm wrestling table, get your whole body right down there with it, and supinate up. That's really gonna hit that spot that's bugging you. Do reps high, like 50 to 100. You know, when you're hurt, when you're feeling strong and healthy, obviously you can go heavier. But this will get the blood in there, this will help you heal. At the same time, it'll strengthen the area. Alternatives, you can do it on table. So instead of using side, you can use some bicep involvement and some rising, right? Same kind of idea, twisting upwards. Or if you want to make it really advanced, step that side of your knuckle, right? So past the, you know, this is way out there rising with supination, right, like this. That's supination. It's gonna help you get that step over. So not so much with this ridge like you were before, but right out here on the fingertip to help you get that step over, right? Either way, you know, this is the cure for all of your pains here.